Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
All right, welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. It is a Wednesday, coming off of one holiday party that we had last night. We've got another one next week. Looking at my little personal calendar, there's a couple this weekend. There's just a lot of stuff going on with these holiday parties.
Yes, I've got 2 parties on Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
I've got 2 events on Sunday.
Man.
Party on Monday.
Yeah.
Jeez.
'Tis the season, right?
'Tis the season. I'm going to be alcoholic.
And I'm going to crash every fucking one of them.
I'm going to check myself into Hanley Hazelden on the 2nd.
Yeah.
If the party is awesome, it's fun. I don't like getting turned, though, on a school night.
No.
It is hard to want to really go balls to the wall full gorilla.
It sucks on a night that you have to get up at 3 a.m. the next day. Doesn't make sense.
There was one year, and it wasn't for the radio gig, but there was a Christmas party that was on a Friday night. And I was so used to having Christmas parties on a Monday or Tuesday. The Friday one was fucking amazing. Everybody was just drinking. People were hooking up. It was an awesome party. That's how you throw a company rager.
Yeah. I've noticed since where radio parties used to be when I got into this profession back in the 90s to where they are now.
They were awesome.
The ones in the 90s were just absolutely insane, where you would have people putting lampshades on their head and you'd have drunk girls crawling around the floor underneath tables and who knows what was going on.
Remember that time we had that party and the Treasure Coast people came and met with the West Palm people and they had never met each other and they started swapping wives?
Well, I do remember that, and that was a crazy fucking party. I feel like that was on the weekend. That was a weekend
That
party.
was a weekend because it was at a hotel.
It was.
And people that were at the party weren't expecting to get a hotel room, but they ended up getting hotel rooms and all sleeping in each other's rooms. And there was stories about all kind of fun, exciting stuff that people did.
We definitely have some swingers that listen to this program. We do. And here's the thing about swingers. They are not shy people. They will just kind of throw it on out there.
They will serve it up on a tray. Pass it around like it's a buffet.
Oh, there's a couple that's talked about banging Ralston. They've laid in bed, go, oh man, I'd love to see you rub his hair. It's out there.
Is that what it's out there?
The chatter's
They're
out
talking?
there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got a lot of things going on here. What is appropriate and what is not. It was discussed today on the show. There's a movie called Babylon coming up that has got Margot Robbie in it, and it's got Brad Pitt, and she was talking about how it was so cute that she went up and sneaked in a kiss that wasn't in the script on Brad Pitt during the movie and said, when am I ever going to have a chance again to do something like this? And we just posed the question, how would this statement be received if the genders were flipped and it was Brad Pitt that forced a kiss on Margot Robbie that was not in the script? And Beth had said, I rarely disagree with Virginia, but I do with the Brad Pitt thing. My concern isn't Brad's feelings. Following the standard makes it safer for victims in the future. So she believes it sounds like in a little bit of fairness between the genders and how we judge these things, that you can't, I believe Virginia said, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Well,
That's just how it is.
The most shocking thing about that email you just read is that she only disagreed with Virginia this one time. What the fuck show are you listening to?
And Carla, she said, "You men owe us, so Brad will not say anything."
See, that's the kind of mentality that's not. You're never going to get peace on earth if we're always going to play. You owe us.
Men have victimized women for long enough. It's just one back in the other direction. So
P.S. Suck it up.
Well, the reason why that's going to cause problems is because not all men are evil. Like all women aren't evil. So when you start saying all of somebody is this, people are going to always, you're never going to get people going, no, you're right, I'm evil, and I'm just going to take that.
Yeah.
There's going to be people that are going to clap back to that. Mm-hmm. Especially if you've never been evil.
I mean, just Margot Robbie, what a lucky spot for you to find yourself in. Good for you.
And I'm sure Brad didn't really complain. So I don't think he's in any kind of serious relationship, and, so what?
No, he's dabbling.
Yeah, but it does sound like now on movie sets, they are very specific about any kind of intimate touching whatsoever. And I don't know if they're at kisses, but from what I'm hearing and what we've heard in some of these entertainment reports is that they have to both sign off on everything that is going to be executed and how. That's not the place to improv or be like, hey, let me see what happens if I stick it here.
That's what we do with Grimsley, Kev.
Yep. Smart. Joe Rogan made a claim that I think a lot of people might agree with. He wants The Rock to admit he's on steroids. He said, there is not an effing chance in hell that The Rock is clean. Not a chance in hell. As big as he is at the age of 50, there's no way.
Oh, that's the conversation me and you had a couple weeks ago. And I'm not
A lot of guys are on steroids.
Yeah, I'm not hating on the game. I understand. Well, he's a fucking action hero, of course. But you can't be, the older you get, as you know, Kev,
I know.
It's so hard to keep on weight and to look like a fucking madman.
Yeah.
There's no shame in the game of getting a little help for that.
No, and the way he is and the size he is now, and this is kind of like what Joe Rogan was saying, is that he's much bigger now than he ever was in the WWE, talking about the vascularization, the striations of his muscles that you can see. Just how defined they are and how huge he is. And that is one of the things I know from talking about hormones is that for guys in your mid-20s, you start losing testosterone. When I got tested in my early 30s for my testosterone, I couldn't put on any muscle. And, I was eating like crazy, carrying out a jug of water.
You were.
And I could not put on any kind of muscle. And it was my trainer that said, you know what, you may have low testosterone issues. And so when I went and got tested, they were barely even registering, and I got on the testosterone, and bam, 6 weeks later, I turned into a house.
Panda is on it. He's gone on it. He's gone off of it.
Yeah.
He loves being on it because when you go into the gym, it's like, I don't know, you spent 10 hours in the gym for every hour you actually spend.
That's true. No, it
It's
is like
crazy.
that. Yeah, and that's it. And that was where I was. When you put in that much work, sweat equity, and you're straining.
Sweat equity.
That's it. That's a Panda term, right?
What a meathead.
Panda loves to take a selfie and put sweat equity.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Yeah.
Sweat
I thought that was his
Sweat
thing.
equity.
I thought it was his hashtag.
That is, I think he's trademarked it.
Yeah. So I don't want to step on that. I don't want any kind of cease and desist. So I'm giving credit.
He would love it that you're using it.
Yeah. So when you do put in that work, I get it. That was so frustrating for me because I think I was at 18 months in the gym.
Yep.
And I'm like, screw this, man. Why am I killing myself and not getting any kind of results?
You tried to do it with the Lord. You tried to do it with what God gave you genetically.
Well, and the reason why was because I had grown up in the 80s where it was stigmatized because you had NFL players and wrestlers that had done it. There's a guy named Lyle Alzado, who used to play for the Raiders, and he looked like a withered shell of a man that wasted away, and it was blamed on steroids and steroid abuse. So whenever you said steroids, it would be those after-school specials. Oh, my gosh, you can't be on steroids. That's terrible. Didn't they have one with Ben Affleck where he's supposedly on steroids?
It is.
He freaks out.
It's fucking amazing. It's on HBO. It's
Yeah.
an HBO made one, and he turns into a monster.
Yeah, he's a
Oh.
monster. So steroids kill and they turn you into a demonized monster. And either that or a cheater. Those are the three things that steroids always were. And, you now can say testosterone. It's the same thing as steroids, but it sounds a little bit better because it sounds like, okay, I'm trying to just increase something that my body's supposed to be creating naturally. And as you get older, you just lose those hormones. So, yeah, I think The Rock, I agree with Joe Rogan. He probably is. The Rock is still probably in a world where he feels like he'll be demonized. If he is balancing them through the care of a doctor and he's not taking more than he needs to, there should not be any problem with any guy or girl saying that they've gone out and balanced their hormones. It's a healthy thing to do.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I was having awful night sweats, hot flashes. I couldn't function. A little bit of testosterone, a little bit of estrogen, bam, it's all gone. I'm back to normal, like it never happened.
I mean, to me, the wrestlers, those guys need to be as jacked as you want those guys that look jacked. I get why they do that.
Yeah.
My issue, and I'll keep it very brief, was when I played baseball, I didn't do steroids and other guys did. And I know it's controversial, I personally do think steroids help you. I think they help you in baseball. I think they make you stronger. A ball that doesn't go out of the ballpark. Yeah. You know how I feel about that. But anything else, if you want to do it for movies and all that, why not? I get why you would do that.
Yeah, or just for feeling better, or carrying on some lean muscle, or having a physique that it used to be 20 years ago guys at 50 couldn't have. The Rock has. So I'm sure it's there. Toph in the chat room said, steroids make me think of butt acne. And the one thing that is different now is you do have to take like an anastrozole or other kind of medication to kind of keep it balanced. And that's really the trick, because if your hormones go out of whack, that's when you do start seeing weird things like acne.
Which is gross.
Yes, and you're going to grow titties and all that kind of gross stuff.
Titties on your ass.
Yeah.
What if you got a titty on your butt acne?
I think it's a tough break.
That's not a nipple, that's a zit.
But there's some people that go, fuck it, I'm still looking swole. Give me ass titties.
Yeah, so keeping your hormones balanced is very key, because, yeah, you can have a lot of bad side effects if you do too much. And I think there's cancer and all that kind of stuff that, your body could have. So you have to have a professional that is regularly checking your levels, and that's through a blood test.
Even if you have a professional regularly checking your levels, there's risk. But you have to decide personally if the risk is worth the reward. And for me, people came at me when I put a post up on Instagram about how I was taking the estrogen and testosterone. They came at me saying, you're going to get cancer. You're going to get cancer. Well, I understand there's a risk of that. But my life was so miserable with the twice an hour hot flashes and night sweats that I was covered and soaked in sweat. For me, it was worth whatever risk it is just to not be able to I couldn't function. I was in here losing my mind.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Remember? I was like...
No, I forgot. I forgot about your menopause meltdown. No. When did that happen?
Okay, it left an impression.
Yeah, so Joe Rogan wants The Rock to either say you are or you are not, as there are...
Just say it, Rock. Just tell him, yes, I have. Now shut the fuck up.
Because there are other men that
you
are
little
out
twerp.
there.
You're just mad because you're half my size, bitch. Say that.
You call Rogan the twerp.
Yeah, I am. Rogan's just jealous because he'll never genetically be as big as The Rock.
Also, Rogan needs content.
Well, I think where it stems from is there's this guy that I'm not familiar with, and he's super jacked, and he had gone on and he had made the defiant claim that he was not on steroids, that he had a diet that consisted of eating things like raw liver. And this guy is massively jacked. And you just look at him and how defined his abs are and how swole this dude is. And you're seeing him say, all you have to do is just eat raw meat, like raw liver, and you're going to get this kind of body. And so people that are pursuing that kind of body, I think in a sense that's what he wants more than just jealousy, is he wants honesty to say, okay, what's going on? Brian Johnson is the guy's name. He's known online as Liver King. And he finally did admit, after denying it in the past, that he has done steroids, and he continues to take testosterone once a week. And that's where his ripped physique comes from, because otherwise people are eating freaking raw livers for no reason. And it's pretty gross.
I mean, at this point, come on, let's just be honest.
Yeah, I think
There's no shame in wanting to look good. Let's stop making it seem like you should be embarrassed of that.
Yeah, and so you need to say that, and especially if you've got a diet that you're selling and you're trying to claim my body is because of this, and there's a lot of that going on where people will have their own diet and they may have a jacked body, but it's because something else is giving them the jacked body, and they're trying to sell it off like, if you follow my plan, you can look like me, and you're like, well, okay, and then you buy it.
It's a lie.
And it's a lie, and that's the stuff where the Federal Trade Commission steps in and they try to maintain truthfulness in advertising. And so, that's where I think it is. But The Rock has just not commented.
Here's what should happen. The Rock should go into Joe Rogan's studio and act like he's all cool, and all of a sudden, rock bottom, I'm straight to hell.
That'd be an interesting thing. Yeah, would Joe Rogan take the rock bottom, or would he fight back?
He'd love it.
I mean, Joe Rogan's not a small dude himself.
Well, he's not. I wouldn't say he's tall, but he's jacked.
He's jacked, yeah.
But he's short and jacked. The Rock's got like 1.5 feet on him.
The Rock's a big dude.
Mm-hmm. He is a very big guy. The Rock now, and the story had a lot of side-by-side photos of The Rock when he was in the WWE compared to now. And, he even had a little... I wouldn't say he was fat by any means, but he had a little bit of, you could see that. I mean, now he's completely shredded. I don't know if there's any body fat on him at all.
Are people really shocked at The Rock's? I don't fucking understand this.
It's about the truth in advertising. It has to do with Liver King. That's why it's a subject, because I guess this Brian Johnson ripped a lot of people off. And he apologized 5 days ago.
Well, then go after Brian Johnson. Don't go after The Rock.
It was a sidebar conversation that he was having, saying, okay, what about somebody like The Rock?
The Rock is not Brian Johnson.
I just assume everybody is doing anything to stay as young as they can in Hollywood.
Fuck yeah. Give me everything.
I'm shocked of none of this.
If it's available, I will take it.
Of course he's on fucking steroids, guys.
Yeah. He's like, just once and for all, just say it. If you're going the other direction and looking for good snacks, got a suggestion from Rachel. She said, I want to know if the Jaybird has ever heard of poutine. I discovered it after moving to Seattle. It's a Canadian dish consisting of French fries, cheese curds, all topped with a savory brown gravy, and it's an amazing comfort food, and there's a picture of it there on KVJ TV.
We've seen poutine.
We're poutine fans.
They have poutine at the South Florida Fair.
We're poutine fiends, is that as they say in the biz?
Okay.
We love a poutine.
I would add sour cream to that too.
I used to love sour cream. I kind of don't love it anymore for some reason. It kind of tastes like, I don't know, white thick air. I don't know, with a small weird aftertaste. I do got a bitch palate. I get it.
COVID changed you, bruh.
Well, I can say the same thing about menopause for you. I'm glad, by the way, for the record, I'm glad you're on all this fucking medication. It's nice to have my girl back.
I'm still a little wild, but at least I'm not losing my mind. I was losing my mind.
I was always fanning her down. I had to fan her down constantly.
I couldn't function.
Yeah.
I was just I turned into a bitch monster. I was mad all the time and sweaty.
Mm-hmm. That's what some good little medications will do for you.
Quick.
Somebody emailed and wanted to know if Jaybird had seen the new shorts that Hot Pockets debuted that has an insulated pocket to keep your Hot Pocket warm.
I have seen this, yes.
Yeah.
Man, I swear. The Hot Pocket lovers, they're few and far between. Every time we talk about Hot Pockets, I get major shit from people. They're not that bad, y'all. Hot Pockets kind of fucking awesome.
Now I used to love them lean pockets.
Well, that's a different story. That's a different story. Lean pockets.
Bitch ass lean
Bitch
pockets.
ass fucking lean pockets.
Yeah.
I'm over here talking about 4 cheese Hot Pockets. Motherfucker, lean pockets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You need to rock bottom him.
I would love to. If Kevin would let me rock bottom him, I'd be so tickled pink. And that motherfucker would rock bottom me too. Rock bottoms are my favorite moves.
It's a wrestling move, not a sex move. Just for those of you that don't know.
Yeah.
We got to get some clarity.
Don't think I want this cat rocking my bottom.
I could give you the people's elbow.
Now there's some OnlyFans content.
Mm-hmm.
The people's elbow.
Yeah, I think that idea actually came from a radio dude who kind of kicked it out there and then pushed it on Hot Pockets until they saw the light and said, yeah, maybe that would be a smart, dumb marketing gimmick for us. So, we've got a lot of harebrained ideas too. And you just, push.
Agreed.
Just lean on those companies. Be like, hey, we're giving you that kind of idea. We're full of a lot of dumb ideas just like this.
And
yeah.
And Hot Pockets need need some kind of heat going because no one's really talking Hot Pockets but me.
And it's nichey, it's cute, it's funny. People that like Hot Pockets would love getting that for Christmas. It'd be one of those fun gifts everybody giggles about around the Christmas tree.
Are you bummed out or kind of excited if you got a couple Hot Pockets on the way? You know they're cooked and prepared right. Are you quietly like, oh fuck yeah, Hot Pockets? You're kind of Hot Pockets.
I don't eat that.
What a fucking snobby answer.
I wouldn't even eat lean pockets. That's just me.
Well, of course, that's bullshit. That's
just
bullshit in a box.
I don't eat a lot of frozen food, and if I'm gonna, I would make you a Hot Pocket and eat that like a fresh one. But then that's a calzone, bitch.
So snooty. Tequesta is over.
Yeah.
Sorry, I demand better ingredients.
I don't eat Hot Pockets, Kevin.
I don't eat that shit.
Well, talking about not being fresh, Christina sent an email. She said, I heard you guys talking about shelf-stable meat
Ugh.
on Friday, and it made me think about the time I went home in 2018 after my mom had a stroke. I was cleaning the house and cleaning out the pantry and cabinets. My mom is known to hold on to things for way too long, but I knew it was a big problem when I found a can of Chef Boyardee ravioli that expired in 1997.
Holy shit.
So who knows when she actually bought it? Keep in mind, this is 2018 that he discovered the can that had expired in 1997.
Damn.
Yeah, I said, Christina says, I'm just kind of curious what's the oldest medicine or food your listeners have found that was clearly expired. My mom also once tried to give me eardrops that had expired in the 80s.
We drank that 1984 Coca-Cola, and
You
it was,
did.
Yeah.
We did
Well,
not.
I like a blood in, blood out kind of a thing.
You are a crazy bitch.
Again, and I throw this out there: if you find old food and you want me to try it, I want to try it. I want to. That'd be fun.
Would you eat them old ravioli?
Fuck it. Why not? On the air, I will.
All right.
Let's do it. I do. I want to. If you got old ass food, and I think what makes it sexy, anything 10 years or older.
Yeah.
I agree.
Expired 10 years or more.
1984 Coke was just disgusting.
Yeah.
Vile, awful, just shit.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
And Mata sent an email. She heard me talking about how the Queen was trying to get me to go in on a cheat day so she can eat some candy canes, and she didn't want to have the guilt. Apparently, she won't have it if I'm also eating
Group guilt.
bad. Yeah. She said, why call it a cheat day? I personally call it a reward day because I have worked extra hard to lose the weight. No need to feel guilty when you're eating something you enjoy. You're not doing it every day. So, Kevin, go ahead and enjoy the candy canes with your wife. Life is too short. Yeah, she had asked me, she said, what would you have? And I had said, well, probably the only thing I don't really eat anymore that maybe I would want or miss is ice cream, maybe.
Oh, I love ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucked up some Rocky Road the other night. It was a good round.
Yeah. Ice cream would probably be about it, but it's been a while, so I don't think much about it these days. Out of sight, out of mind.
That makes me sad a little bit.
Me too.
No, I'm
You
good.
can't have just a couple bites.
I don't really want a couple bites because to me it really is. It's out of sight, out of mind. So, you know, in fact, I've got this whole thing where, God love it, I love chips and salsa, and I keep finding myself when I see it, I'm like, gosh, you know what? I'll just have a couple chips. Next thing you know, I house half the bag and eat a whole jar of salsa. And I wouldn't if it just weren't there. It's out of sight, out of mind. And I looked the other day, and my mother-in-law's gone all in. We have 9 bags of tortilla chips at my house right now.
Wow.
9 bags.
You're
It's
ready
just,
for a party.
I mean, it's just there's a wall of tortilla chips. There's just there, and there's part of me again because I said it's the weird psychosis. Because when I was a kid, my grandfather used to always kind of lean in on, oh, you know, kids in China would love that, and so I still have this ongoing guilt about not finishing food. And so if I see it there, I'm like, well, you know, you got to eat that. I mean, you can't let that go to waste.
Oh, last night we had that party, and then I came home, and I was gonna be such a good boy, man. And fuck it, I decided to just go. I ate the thin Reese's cups. I bought the thin ones because
Yeah.
yeah.
I ended up eating the whole bag. The whole bag. It's a big ass bag. I was an animal last night because I had some shitty ass pizza.
Yeah, that pizza left a little bit to be
I
desired.
did not have a good experience last night, Kevin.
No, it wasn't good.
Nah, from the service to the food, it was like, fuck this.
It was all
It
jacked.
It was not a good experience. Virginia witnessed it.
I did.
Did Rocco like it? He's a
kid. He thinks that Little Caesars is gourmet. No offense to pizza, but
yeah, I
you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
You and I speak the same pizza language.
The thing that you ever have a pizza that looks amazing, and then you eat it and it's bullshit in a box.
Yep.
She's hot. She's a hot girl.
Okay.
But her personality sucks.
Okay.
There wasn't enough of it. It was so thin. It was just so flavorless. I mean, you talk about eating flavored air. That's what it kind of tasted like.
Well, I was ordering one for my brother, too, so I just said, hey, could I please get a meat lovers as well? We don't serve meat lovers. Read the sign. I'm like,
Whoa.
I was like, fuck you.
Just give me the one that you have that has like mostly meat.
If I got that, I probably would just turn around and walk right out.
I know.
And I'd be like, you know what? Forget about it. I don't want to give you money. I don't want your business to succeed.
Pizza with a toot, I say.
Yeah, you come in at me like that. If you don't treat me like gold, because I'm here to spend money, then I don't need you. I'll go. There's a gazillion other places that got pizza.
Not cheap either.
Yeah, I can't believe the balls on some places that have businesses where you need to treat people nice and they don't.
It is crazy, and I've only noticed it of more recent years. And I don't know if people just went fucking bananas during COVID or what, but I do feel like even business owners in the food world are kind of, not everybody, of course, but I am seeing more dicky behavior.
I think what happens is people are more rude in general. You start off the whole regular show kind of talking about this, and you do get worn down by other people that are rude, but it's not fair to take the baggage you got from a rude customer. I was talking to our friends that own Cucina Cabana last night, and he was talking about on Thanksgiving Day about one customer he had to kick out of his restaurant and what the guy was doing. And
what was he doing?
He was going around. The guy claimed he got cold gravy on his food. And so he's going around to every table and he's like, this place is shit. Get out of here. Oh. He was like, their food
From table
sucks.
to table?
Table to table, trying to convince everyone to get up in the restaurant and leave.
Oh, you
and he
throat
said,
punch that guy.
He said, we can try to accommodate you to make sure your food is the way that it should be if you have any kind of problems, but I can't have you going around to every table trying to get everyone to revolt and walk out of my restaurant.
Wow.
And he had his mom, who was in a wheelchair, and she was apparently telling all the servers to fuck off.
Oh my gosh.
And then the guy said, well, you need to take off your glasses now to my buddy Frank. And he's like, because I'm going to punch you right now in the face. And he's
that was
like,
nice of him. That's polite.
Yeah, he's like, you just need to leave. He said the cops are next, and this isn't going to end well for you. And so he walked the guy out.
Bitch, I wish you would.
You hit him with that rock bottom.
Yeah. So, I understand that you have a restaurant or a place of business and you deal with that asshat in the way they do it. But Frank can't take the baggage he gets from that guy and then displace it on somebody else that comes in. And they're like, yeah, I'd like to have the mashed potatoes and gravy. Be like, you're not going to go around complaining to everybody it's cold, right? They'd be like, no, why? See,
right.
You can't, as
you
Frank,
can't
act that way. You have to compartmentalize and say, all right, that's just one and done.
I'm not going to let gravy guy ruin it for everybody.
You got to shake it off, and you got to go back out there with a smile and treat everybody like they're gold and the best thing ever. And, that's just the way it's got to go.
I was in there the other night. Frank is such a fun host.
He's a great
dude. They have a great vibe in there.
They do.
Fuck gravy guy. I'm going to fight him now.
Yeah, they have a great, it started with their dad. Their dad was one of those dudes that if you went in there, he would go around to every table. He just wanted people to have a great time. So that's why he does entertainment with the food. And he would talk to every person at every table to make sure they're having a great experience. And he always wore these fancy tricked out suits.
Yeah.
He had a whole persona. And
they still have pictures up of the dad everywhere, which I love that.
Yeah, and it was a family thing. And he said, this is the legacy I want to hand down to my kids.
Aww.
I was part of when he started and opened up, and he sure did that. And now they're carrying it on. It's a whole family thing. Their mom will always be in there, and they pay tribute to their dad every single day. And
I love it.
It's the way it should be, but they treat everybody so well. And that's the way it should be. If anybody was ever a dick to me, just when I walked in and asked a question, like, read the sign, I'd be like, fuck off, and I'm out.
Am I the only one that's kind of in the mood for gravy now?
Tis the season.
Gravy's great.
Gravy, whether it's Italian or even, I like a regular gravy too. I know me and Kevin aren't big on Thanksgiving stuff, but gravy is good.
You like a brown gravy or a tomato gravy?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you call, and this is going to sound like a shitty Italian, Alfredo sauce? Can you technically call that a gravy? An Alfredo gravy? Or am I just the worst fucking Italian?
I don't know. Let's let the Italians tell you.
What does make something a gravy? Is it because whenever I think about gravy, it is something. It's got kind of a meat based. It says the technical definition: gravy is a sauce made from cooked meat juices together with stock and other ingredients. So I think what makes it a gravy, Alfredo would not, because you're missing the element of meat.
It's a sauce, Alfredo is, but you don't need meat.
I love
So
how
it's not a gravy.
I love how Kevin just researched that. Got a great answer. It was quick. It was concise. I love it.
He's half hard.
Half. Full mass, baby. We're talking gravy.
Can you make a sauce with your meat?
We're talking gravy. I can make some gravy. All right. Okay, that's terrible.
We hadn't been vulgar enough this podcast. You got to get at least one quip
Our
in.
podcast is kind of vulgar, actually.
We're so sorry.
I did get an interesting comment last night, and you never know when you hear stuff and you're at a party. Somebody said that if you're a dude and you're having a hard time getting hard, that is one of the first signs you got a heart attack on deck.
Wait,
What?
what now?
Because it has to do with blood flow.
How's your bone piece?
And I had even seen they were talking about how I think it's maybe Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's are three of the biggest days for heart attacks. And it has to do more so with people that are in colder weather, because in the colder weather, your veins constrict a bit. That affects the blood flow. That's what heart attacks are all about. You take the cold combined with the stress or the movement of those holidays, and they notice more heart attacks on those days. But I was like, yeah, I could see where there'd be truth to that. If you can't get the blood flow into your peen, then maybe it's a sign that, hey, you got blood flow issues.
Blockage.
And yeah, you could be a candidate for a heart attack. So I was like, all right, so as long as I can get hard, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the same since I was about 3, every single morning. And we're still there, Virginia. So the bone piece is fine as of right now.
Prove it.
All right, give me like 60 seconds. I'll get her ready. All right, you're making me.
And how do you do that?
You're trying to be so vulgar today.
Do you slap it around side to side, or you?
I don't know. You cup the balls, tickle them a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Get a fluffer. 1, 2, 3, not it.
Just grip.
Suits, you're the last one here.
Suits.
You're the newbie.
Just grip and rip.
Jay Bird is working on the radio, so you got to fluff him. He can't do two
We
things
gotta
at
make
once.
sure he's not gonna have a heart attack.
Well, when a Kevin Ralston wants to, play around with his microphone, do what do you do?
I smack it up, flip it, rub it down.
There you go.
Oh, no.
That's right.
It's the age-old tale. You just gotta move it around a little
You
bit.
gotta move. It needs movement.
And then sometimes you wake up with a bone piece. You're like, all right, ready to go.
Do you rub it out?
Not all the time.
No.
Not every time. I mean, if you jerked off every time you had a boner, oh my gosh, the world would not get a lot done, I think.
Everything would be sticky.
I just come everywhere.
Oh my God. Got no control of that. I was like a fire hose, it sounds like.
Yeah, but no, yeah. You can have a boner. You don't have to always, flog the dolphin. I know you don't have the parts. So it's a good question.
That would be interesting if that was a feature of being a man, that any time you did get hard, you couldn't get it down unless
you come.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, why did you just turn into Elvis?
Don't come on my blue suede shoes.
Because I feel like I hit my vulgar quota for the day.
That'd be it. Imagine how different the world would be if that was the issue, because you've had that where maybe you might be at work. I've had that before. You may be at a meeting, and for whatever reason, you're like, why am I hard all of a sudden?
And you had to take care of it.
And you're like, okay, how do I get out of this meeting? It will not go down until I get to completion. And then you've got to try to get to the shared company bathroom.
The masturbating bathroom.
And could you imagine that? You're standing at the sink next to another sales guy, or you can hear him in the stall tugging
I can tell you this: if this was the way of the world, bridges wouldn't be built. We wouldn't have as many bridges right now.
I feel like you'd be very distracted.
It would be.
Yeah, I don't know if we'd have electricity.
There's a chance there's no internet.
Yeah. I think we might be behind on the times.
Yeah, we absolutely would be. If you had to.
You could cripple mankind. The male species.
You're right. If everybody had to stop what they were doing as soon as you got a boner
Every time.
and you had to take care of it, the world would be moving pretty slow.
Bitches would be fine though. I think we'd take
Yeah,
over.
girls would be all right. Yeah, I think you would. I think it would handicap the male species so much.
I think it handicaps everybody. I think the whole world would kind of
Let's try it for a day.
it'd be a roadblock. It'd fuck everybody over. Even the animals would be part of a.
Well, and a good point from Keither. He said you need special booths everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
Keither's
you
right.
you need, like in New York City, walking the streets, you just need specified cum pods.
Oh, if someone tells me New York City cum pods would be the grossest.
Could you imagine?
the poor guy that has to clean
Oh,
those.
and me with just my fear of germs. If I had to walk in a New York City cum pod,
the door handle to the cum pod.
my
Let me go ahead
gosh.
and play devil's advocate and be positive. It's creating jobs.
the clean. Oh, it'd be.
It
Oh my
creates
gosh!
jobs.
What a terrible world this would be.
It would make the whole world with just a big different set of problems that we're not ready to face.
Either that or guys would be walking. I mean, imagine getting into an elevator. And there's just three
You have a
hard
boner.
guys in there. Three obviously hard dudes. You're cramming into a subway car.
Well, it's a circle
and
jerk.
and half of the guys are hard in there because they haven't found a cum pod.
Imagine all of a sudden me and you take an elevator together and we both start masturbating. I'm like, oh, Kevin clearly had a boner. He had to get rid of it. That's the rule. If not, you get killed.
Maybe we would all just walk around with tissues and you wouldn't think anything of it. Guys would just be relieving themselves and it'd be like, excuse me a second.
So
and then
basically
you
you're-
just turn around and you'd finish and then you just go about your business.
You're saying if this was a real thing and it was a common problem, we would adapt eventually and figure out how to live in that
How would
world.
society, if this were the way men's bodies were physically, what would we do in society to adapt
It's great. It's a great question and a great theory. It's something to deeply think about.
to this situation? Yeah, so
It
I
does
don't know.
sound like we're about 30% high too.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
just saying.
yep.
What if?
Yep.
What if? Yep. All right. Thank you very much for all the emails. Mail at kvjshow.com. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday.
Don't think about the word cum pod.
Yeah.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.